Welcome back to another episode of NFL News on the Boomer Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today talking about a interesting proposal that's going before the owners, and as far as changing overtime, like not really changing the rule or whatever. It is a complete redesign of the overtime, and so. This comes from the Baltimore Ravens, which I believe is just the owners that kind of put these forth. I'm not exactly sure how that goes, but whoever in the Baltimore Ravens suggested this, and they'll be discussing it at the owners meeting. And that is what do they call it? Spot and choose. And so this system basically, they'll flip a coin, and the winner of the coin gets to spot the ball, or the coin toss, excuse me. The winner of the coin toss gets to spot the ball. I believe that's the way they set it up. And so you can put the ball anywhere on the field. And then the person that doesn't win, the team, they get to choose whether they play offensive or defense. And then you play it out. So that is essentially a counterbalance where if I win the coin toss and I say, all right, I'm going to put the ball at the 1 yard line of our goal, then they'll say, okay, well, we'll play defense then, and then you'll have to drive 99 yards. Also, opposite, if you say, okay, I'll put the ball at your 1 yard line, so you're backed all the way up, they'll say, okay, or our 1 yard line, I should say. So you're backed all the way up. Then they'll say, okay, we'll play offense. And now we're on the 1 yard line and going into the end zone. So it really causes some strategy. I almost said strategery. It really causes some strategy of where you want to put the ball. And obviously you can't do anything too drastic because the other team gets to pick if they're the offense or the defense. And they have two proposals right now as far as the conclusion. So like if you don't score. Right now, one is a sudden death. So if the defense stops the offense, they win. If the offense scores, obviously they win. And then the game's over. Another one is a continuation. I believe they said 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm not sure why that was the number, but they were basically saying, okay, after that series, if you don't score, the game keeps going. Even though I guess that makes sense. That's just a continuation. So in one scenario, if the defense gets a stop, it's done. The other scenario is if the defense gets a stop, you just keep going. And I believe they also said it's just still a continuation. So if the offense scores, I believe you still keep going too. So those are the two ways they're looking at it. Overall, I will say I love this idea. One thing that really opened my eyes, and I'm sad it took this, was it the XFL? Yeah, the quick, short-lived XFL. But they came out and they did all these different things, these different ideas that people were talking about all the time, having a 3 extra point attempt, 2 extra point, and 1 extra point, and you didn't have to kick it. You could just go for it and the ball be spotted different places. And all this other stuff they did. And people, it was a good reminder that people get stuck and they resist change. And you see it in the workplace. I'm sure most of you do. You see it in society. You see it everywhere. People resist change, even when it is not that much of a change. Or I would say when it's not that difficult of a change. People just have their minds fixed. And so this idea that, oh my God, we got to deliberate back and forth for years before we change stuff is not true. And now to the NFL's credit, they've shown that. And again, with the XFL, it showed me like you could just up and change the rule. They did it with the extra point. They piloted it in the preseason and then they did it the next year. So they did pilot it. But with the challenging the offensive defensive pass interference, They didn't pilot that. Not that I know of. They brought that in. They passed it and they did it. When they moved the extra point, or already said that one, but when they moved the kickoff, they did that. Like they did change the spot if you kneel the kickoff to the 35 instead of the 25. They just did it. They're like, here's the rules now you play. It ain't like some huge mechanism you got to change or we got to change everything. No, you tell the players the rules and they go play and then they'll get used to it. So it to me, it's a good sign, and I like this idea of just not switching it up just for the sake, but if you have something that you think is an issue and you want to try a solution, try it. You can then, like the pass interference, they took it away after that. It was like, that didn't work. It's not going to kill you to try it. I mean, we ain't talking about completely changing the rules of football. It's just kind of the mechanics of the overtime. So, like, to me, I am excited at the thought that we could just totally switch this up. And I hope it opens up more doors later. But that's my overall thoughts. Specifically, I like the counterbalance of it. Again, you can't really screw the other team. You know what I mean? You can't put them against one goal line and say, we're going to go from the 1 yard line into our end zone. No, actually, because they're going to take the ball, or they're going to give you the ball and you're going to have to drive 99 yards and vice versa. So I like that. My only thing with that is that people it's going to become the same spot eventually. I really don't see a situation where, one overtime, this team put it on on their own 35-yard line. Well, this team put it on the opponent's 40-yard line. Well, this team put it on their own 42-yard line. Well, this team put it in opponent's 10-yard line. I don't think it's going to be a huge variance. I think, especially with analytics today, it's more than likely going to be midfield or at the 40, at the opponent's 40. It's more than likely going to be somewhere between the 40 and the 40 and the 50, but I think it'll just come down to the 50. That's more so my thought, because now you give yourself a 50-50 shot. I don't see teams having wide variance with that, but again, it gives you kind of a gamble. I mean, I have no clue why. Even if a team was dead last in the red zone scoring, why would you give them the ball in the red zone? Like, I mean, I just don't see that ever happening. Maybe somebody does something weird, but I just see them figuring out one sweet spot, and that's what everybody's going to pick. But I do like the counterbalance of it. And again, I like that we're just, kind of letting them play football. Now, for me, the conclusion, my personal opinion, I would like it to be sudden death. I like it to be 4 down. Well, I can't say 4 downs, because if you put it at the 50, you got 4 downs to score. That favors the defense. I say you got to have, because a field goal makes it tricky. I will say this is some stuff you have to work out. If it was me personally, I would say no kicking. And I know that just kind of really throws the game off, but I would say no kicking. You got to stop the offense on 4th down. So they got 4 downs to get a first. If they get a first, obviously they got 4 more. So you have to stop them. Like, there is no punt it. There is no field goal it. You got to stop them. And the offense has to convert. That's my personal thought. Now, if they want to do a sudden death where, you can kick it, that's fine too. You got to keep them out of field goal range. That's fine with me. I don't really like the idea of a continuation. I don't see that being super different than what we already do. I mean, you get the ball. If you don't get in scoring range and you turn the ball over or you punt the ball, the other team gets to continue and y'all just continue to play it out. That's what we already do. So I personally like the sudden death. I've always liked sudden death. Now, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't see nothing wrong with the college rules. I think if you're talking about three, like first place, second place, third place, What we currently have, that's third place to me. I mean, that's, of all these ideas, that's the worst. The new spot and choose idea, I think that's second place. But first place, as many people say, is the college rule. Like, go from the 25, your 25, or the opponent's 25, and what you play, or whoever wins the coin toss gets to pick. Do you want to play offense or defense? We play offense. Okay, the team has the chance to stop you. If you score, now the other team gets the ball, they got a chance to score. I mean, I would rather do that. Now, it is tough because the NFL, I mean, not everybody's good in the red zone, but honestly, the people that really don't do well with red zone numbers are people that don't have a lot of trips to the red zone. I feel like if you put 90% of the NFL teams at the 25-yard line, they'll find a way to score. But again, with the college rules, it's back and forth. So if you settle for a field goal, you got to hold the team to a field goal. So I like that. I think that's the best option. For whatever reason, the NFL's been adverse to it. But I think, again, the spot and choose is a nice second option. So let me know what you think. Go to the comment section. What do you think about this new proposed idea? Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.